Hello, everybody. Rob Cootie of the MLM Solution. How you doing today? Today is Thursday, the 12th of August. Hard to believe it's the 12th already. And we are going to be having our podcast, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, as always, Monday through Friday is when we do it. And we stream live to our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. If you will, share our information, our podcast, our website, everything else, all the products and information we bring to the table for you, our fellow network marketers, because we want you to succeed in this business. We want you to be empowered with the proper knowledge, and it's all right here. And you can help our fellow network marketers get exposure to the same information that you're privy to right now. And you can do that by simply sharing. How do you do that? By going to our website and clicking the share button. Our website is themlmsolution.net, themlmsolution.net, and also use our hashtag to share with our fellow network marketers so they can get access to this information as well. Hashtag the MLM Solution. Using the hashtag will help you find us on any social media platform. With that being said, today's topic is going to be a good one. Podcast 232. Oh, no, I made a boo-boo. That's not what the topic is. I'm sorry about that. Today's topic is the pros and cons of conference calls. Once again, the pros and cons of conference calls. You can see it there. That's my fault. I made boo-boo. I'm the one that set that stuff up. But hey, there it is. There's the subject for today's show. You need to know what the pros and cons are. If you're going to use conference calls can be important in the business building process. You do not want to miss how to do them properly. Otherwise, it could hurt your business. With that being said, I'm going to hop off here, and we're going to be going live here very shortly. See you in a bit.
Welcome to the MLM Solution Podcast Show, where you'll learn the facts and hear the truth about the network marketing industry. Here's your hosts, Rob Cootie and Marie Cannon.
Hello, Miss Marie. Hello. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine. This has been a challenging week. It's going to continue to be a challenging week. As just, you have those times in life, right? And this week has been, one challenge after another. So with that being said, I look forward to talking about today's subject, which I messed up, and that's my fault. Matter of fact, I will correct that right now so that we can get it correct. I apologize to everybody. Usually I'm on top of it, but Miss Marie, being human, and having all the things I got going on, I made boo-boo.
Well, I was going to say that goes a little bit with the distractions of the week. And for those of you who joined us on the Monday podcast or joined us via video, we struggled a little bit then too. But you know what? Hey, we're human. Life happens. You push through. You keep working through it. And that's one of the beauties of, again, having a business model like the network marketing business model to use to leverage your income, to gain income, to build a business. It gives you a whole lot of flexibility, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't think anybody should be shocked by some of the trials and tribulations that we go through here, because I'm guessing every single person experiences the same thing. And you know what? We are by no means perfect people. And if we can leverage the network marketing industry and become successful, I think that just goes to prove anyone can, don't you?
There we go. I have a great testimony. I love it. Oh, man. All right. So Miss Marie and I always strive to make our shows as short as possible. This week has been a challenge. Not only was I tongue-tied and upside down on Monday. Monday was a Monday. But we've had some interesting topics this week that required very definite clarification. We could not afford for you to walk away from the show not knowing the points we were trying to make, because that was the whole purpose of the show. So we're hoping that today will be much shorter. And so that being said, Miss Marie, I hope that each and every episode of this week, that as I close and summarize, that I did a good job to where people walked away saying, I know what that show was about, and I understand the points that we're making. That's always my goal.
Yeah, and we did touch on a couple topics this week that people don't necessarily think about. A lot of network marketing leaders are not talking about it because they, I think, either don't understand the importance, or they underestimate the importance of recognizing and understanding what's going on with these topics and how they impact your business. So I think there was a little bit more of history and storytelling and illustrating to really make the points. Whereas today, when you talk about conference calls, whether they're conference calls on the telephone, conference calls, Zoom calls, or whatever platform the network marketing company or even your sales organization that you're part of is using, I think everybody recognizes what we mean by a conference call. So it's not going to need as much background buildup, I think.
I hope you're right. My biggest fear, the whole reason we do the podcast is give clear and concise information so people can walk away saying, you know what, they did talk about the topic and it's clear. I understand what the topic is, understand the problem, and understand the solution. I hope that's what they walk away with in each and every episode. I think sometimes we miss the mark, but it's more me than it is you, because I do most of the talking. But that's always my worry, and always my goal is to have a clear, concise conversation with people where they know when they walk away and they learn something. They know what it was that we were talking about.
Well,
all right.
I was going to say, I think folks are always walking away with good information. And I was going to say, before we dive into the topic, we should talk about our upcoming live event, right?
You go with it, girl.
We are planning our first live event. Unfortunately, we cannot cram it into this calendar year because there's just too much influx at the moment, and it takes a while to put one of these on. So we are looking at 2022 for our first live in-person event. But right now, today, right after you listen to this podcast, watch this video, you can go to mlmmastersacademy.com and register to be on the notification list, so that when we have information and details for our live event, you will be the first to know. This is a pre-registration. There's no down payment required. It's absolutely free. You're not going to get spammed with sales messages or any of those shenanigans, because we don't do that. This is simply so we can notify you when we have the information, because the first 100 people who do register for the live event, when we go live with it, and attend that event, are going to receive VIP treatment unlike anything they've seen before. We're not letting you in on the details because it's going to be a little bit of a surprise, but trust me, you want to be one of the first 100 people who do register when we open real registration, sign up payment for the live event and attend. It's going to be an unforgettable experience. And keep in mind, this will be our first live event. There is ever only one first of anything, so that's going to be extra special as well. So be sure to go visit MLM Masters Academy, take 2 minutes, register there, and we'll get you that information as we have it.
Very good, very good. You are awesome. And since she did that, I'll do this real quick. Hey, go to, if you want to have a chance to become a beta tester on our lead site, which we're very excited about as well. We have so many wonderful multiple projects going on at the same time, all of them designed to service you with the proper tools and knowledge. And you can increase your knowledge and your toolkit by doing what? Going to our live events and possibly becoming a beta tester for our upcoming lead generation system, not just a site, system. If you want a chance to get an inside look at this revolutionary tool, then you will want to go to this URL, ineedleadsnow.net/beta, B-E-T-A, ineedleadsnow.net/beta. And what you can do is you can go there and fill out the form. Once again, no shenanigans. All you're going to do when you fill out the form, you're going to be put on the notification list and also an update list all one and the same. But the point is that we will be picking our beta testers from that list. We don't know if we need 100, 200, 300. We don't have a clue as of yet. Okay, but we got to test it and we got to get feedback. And what a wonderful way for you to learn what we're bringing to the table and how it can impact, this tool can impact your business. How exciting would that be? There's never been anything like this. I built it years ago, used it, and it blew me out of the water. I did not expect the results I got. That being said, go there now, register to have a chance to become a beta tester. ineedleadsnow.net. All right, Miss Marie. There she goes. I love those things. I love it when she does that. It is so cool. Thumbs up for all you on the podcast. She's giving us a big thumbs up with her handy dandy, whatever those things are. Like hand fans, That's pretty cool. You don't have to tell me where you got those.
I don't remember where I got those.
All right. The pros and cons of conference calls. Miss Marie, you and I have both been on numerous conference calls. I've conducted conference calls. They're evil from the very nature of themselves. And I don't mean that in a bad way. What I mean by evil, guys, is that they got so many cons to them that it's hard to find many good positives, okay? And that's the evil part about it. Look, they're a necessary evil. You have to do conference calls. I wish it wasn't true, but it is, because you got to communicate with your people. But the thing is, it's how you communicate with your people and the frequency in which you communicate with your people. There has to be a delicate balance. You can't not talk to them and ignore them, because your leaders, you're going to have some leaders they're going to leave. You're going to say, well, this person didn't care about me. They were just wanting to get in my pocket. They got their money, and now they want me to be on auto ship, and I've done that, and I don't hear from them anymore. They just wanted my money, and they want me to continue to stay on auto ship so they can make more money off of me. Totally misconstruing what it is, or who you are as a person, who you are as a leader, because of lack of communication. They allowed their imagination to run wild, and so they have this preconceived idea that Miss Marie doesn't care about them at all. She just wants them to be on auto ship. Don't call me. Don't bother me. Go away. Okay? Well, that's wrong. That's not how Miss Marie is. But because Miss Marie did not communicate effectively, they misconstrued her apathy with the negative side of things, right? And guess what? With the conference calls, if you do them too frequent, you push them away anyway. So there's a delicate balance. We've talked about that delicate balance many times, Miss Marie, on previous episodes, guys. If you go and search for conference calls or even our leadership shows, you will see where we talk about that in those episodes, because there's a delicate balance. And we told you exactly how to establish and maintain that delicate balance. Did we not, Miss Marie?
I believe we did.
Yes. So with that being said, I need to take a step back. I'll be right back with you. Can you take it from here? Just set up why we do conference calls and really what your experience and the purpose was when you were a part of them. And then I'll come back and we'll go into the pros and cons as far as using them and for what purposes.
Yep, sounds good. No problem. So really the conference calls, there's two types of conference calls. Of course, there are those conference calls that are driven and sponsored by the network marketing company itself. Now, we're not going to focus on those conference calls too much because typically those are kind of company-wide. They're not specific to your sales organization. They're not specifically communicating to your people personally. It's kind of a company-wide announcement. It's typically when they have their international or perhaps regional events coming up for the network marketing company. It may be to announce a new country launch, a new country that they're taking the business into. It could be for a new product launch. They may be announcing a new product. And it's a way of communicating with their entire distributorship, the entire sales force, essentially the same information and to be consistent about it. Now, that is similar with your sales team conference calls, which is really what we're going to focus on, what your communication with your own sales organization. Now, everyone and you've heard us say this in previous episodes, everyone that comes into your sales organization, your business organization, they essentially are their own business. They're independent business owners. You want to train them, teach them, and kind of do that good duplication in terms of how to be successful at the business. And the conference calls you're going to have with your organization is really to do those types of trainings potentially, or to communicate other information. And you may do different types of conference calls. You may have those specifically with your leaders, those who have identified themselves through their activity and their growth, which you see in the back office. As the leaders, they're actively building their business. They're taking it seriously. And you can see the growth and progression in the amount of sales volume coming through their organization, as well as pin rank advancement. And then you have the conference calls that are with your entire sales organization. Those are going to be a little bit more rare because each of your leaders can communicate with their own organization. So typically, your conference calls are going to be with those you've identified as your leaders, which is going to cover the rest of your organization. So it's kind of an information trickle down, if you will. But that, of course, is going to be part of the training, is teaching your leaders to communicate with the rest of their organization to make sure everyone is on the same page. And those sales organization communications via conference call is really what we're focusing on here today.
Look at you.
Look at me.
I am so sorry, guys. This has been a crazy week. I apologize. Like I said, I got a lot of family health things going on, and the phone's going crazy. And Miss Marie has to step up and fill in, and I apologize for that. Okay, so with that being said, to tag on to what she said so eloquently is that like anything else in life, there's a yin and a yang, the pros and the cons, the bad and the good and the bad. Okay, when you're doing conference calls, we talked about the delicate balance you got to maintain, because you got to communicate with your people. But how you communicate with your people is absolutely paramount. Look, the company's going to have conference calls. And we talked about this before, and we're not going to rehash a lot of this stuff. But look, if Miss Marie and I were doing business today and we joined a new company, her and I would get on the initial conference calls for the company. In other words, the company puts out, hey, we're going to have this. And as a leader, guess what? I want to get on these conference calls. Why? Because I've been down this road before. I pretty much know what they're going to say, but I want to hear it. Why? Because I need to be educated about the company. I want to hear what they have to say. And I'm going to get on probably 3 or 4 of those to see if the message is consistent. If they come up and say, hey, we got a special conference call, we're going to be talking about XYZ, something they never talked about before in the previous conference calls, I'm going to get on them. Okay. Those are good, effective communication conference calls. It's information I need, even though with the being the seasoned veteran that I am, and I pretty much know what they're going to be about, I'm still going to get on them. Why? Because hold on a minute, Miss Marie.
You're still going to get on them because you need to know the information. You want to make sure you're being consistent in your messaging and passing along the information that you need to know. I'm pretty sure that was the angle he was going on there.
Yes.
So just to kind of finish that sentence.
I got to go and get the wife here in a minute. So I'll make it quick and then you can close it out. Okay, so here's the thing, guys. You have a situation where we're going to get on the conference calls. We're going to learn what we can because we have to communicate that to our growing downline. We haven't sponsored anybody yet. We just joined the company ourselves. And before we start the business building process, we're trying to learn as much about the company as we can. Yes, we investigated it for the 5 things a company must have in order to do something special. We did that. That's the reason why we joined the company, because the 5 things were in fact there. But from that point on, because it is a ever-changing company, anytime you're growing, things are changing. And so it's our job as leaders, as we go out to sponsor people, to build our team, that we be informed about what's going on with the company, okay? So even though we've heard these things before, we're going to swallow our pride, and we're going to go and look beyond our aggravation of being on these things. And what are we going to do? We're going to educate ourselves the best we can so that we're really prepared on, because imperative that our confidence be at an all-time high while we're building our business and sponsoring people. We want to be able to look people in the eye with confidence saying we're with the right company. And part of that process is getting out there. We're not know-it-alls. Just because we're seasoned business builders doesn't mean that we know everything, especially about a new company. So my heart and my soul is at peace because I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, learning what I can about the company, even though I may already think I know what's going on or what's going to be said. I'm going to do it anyway. Okay, so my confidence during the sponsoring and recruiting process is going to be sky high because I'm doing the right things. Okay, now that's when a conference call is good. That is a pro. Okay, because Marie and I are using it for a good reason. Now, what ends up happening, as we talked about earlier this week, is that if the company is constantly having conference calls trying to promote a new product or trying to promote a change to the comp plan, et cetera, and it becomes overbearing, and they're trying to promote you to get on these conference calls over and over and bring your people with you, guys, that is the con side. That is the negative side. You cannot drag your new people to the same conference call every Wednesday that essentially is chewing out the same information, the same testimonials week after week. You're going to lose people. You're going to lose confidence in the company itself and the leadership. You cannot do that. That's the con side. There has to be a proper balance. Now, we use the company as an example, but the thing applies to you too as well. As your business is growing and you're developing leaders, in other words, you're sponsoring people 5 and above, and you're starting to get some leadership showing out of your downline, guess what? You've got to stay in touch with them. But here's the thing. We talked about this before. We're not going to go into all that great detail. If I sponsor Miss Marie and I said, Miss Marie, guess what? When I train her, I signed her up yesterday, Wednesday. Today's Thursday. I signed her up yesterday. I train her today. I tried to train her yesterday and Wednesday. I want to do it right away, but she says, no, I can't. I got to go to work. But call me tomorrow at this time, and we'll do it. And I call her back, and lo and behold, she's there. I find out she's a prior network marketer. She understands the importance of training, and she's ready to go. She's willing to listen and blah, blah, blah. So we get her training done today in 2 hours, okay? And so she goes off and she starts building a business, and then I tell her, hey, next week we're going to have a conference call, okay? And so, but before we do that, after I train her, I said, Miss Marie, how do you want to communicate? Do you want me to touch base with you twice a week to see if you have any problems, or do you want to contact me? Do you want me to stay away and you contact me, or do you want to set up a time frame where we do it once a week, twice a week? I'll do whatever you want, but we need to set that up now because I'm going to fill all my available slots up. So I don't want you to miss out. But I'm going to say, you own your own business. You're the boss. You tell me what is good for you, okay? And what it is that she's going to say, well, you know what? In the beginning, let's do it twice a week. Let's do it Tuesday and Thursday at 8 a.m., before my day starts. Okay, not a problem. And so we set that up. And I say, every Tuesday and Thursday, unless I hear from you, I'm going to call at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we're going to do a half hour, 45 minutes, whatever. Okay? And she's going to say, okay. And then she might say after a week, hey, don't call me on Thursday anymore. I'm good to go one time a week just to see if I have any problems. Okay, and I may call her on Tuesday at 8 o'clock, 2 weeks down the road, and she says, you know what, I have nothing, no questions, and you know what, everything's going fine. So the call may only last 30, 40 seconds, but I called at 8 a.m. as she requested. Eventually, she might say, Rob, don't call me anymore. I got it, good to go. What do? I don't call her anymore. I may text her or email her once in a while, hey, everything okay? And I might do that once every 3 weeks, okay, because I don't want her to think I've forgotten about her. I don't want her to think that she's not important to me. What am I doing? I'm communicating on a level that is a pro effect. It's having a pro effect. In other words, a positive effect, okay? I'm not doing conference calls anymore. And plus, I may do leadership calls. And if she becomes a leader, I'll say, hey, here's what we're doing. Once every 2 weeks, we're doing a leadership call on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Here's what we're covering. New company products, new countries are going into. And that's all we do, okay? You know what? And then guess what? On every other Tuesday, we're doing Q&A, okay, with the leaders. Why am I doing just the leaders? Because she's going to do what? Her downline the same way. It's not my job to have everybody on there. The only time I have everybody in my downline on there is if there's a comp plan change. that will affect almost everybody. And I take the responsibility because I've got clarification and training from the company on what this comp plan is going to be. And instead of putting that burden on my downline leadership, what do? I accept that leadership loan and I get 800 people on there. And I say, okay, guys, this is important enough that I need to have everybody on here. That's the only time you do everybody. Otherwise, you go through your leaders, which is Miss Marie, and then she passes that information through her own conference calls on a weekly basis to her leaders, okay? And that way, you don't have training drain, as they call it. And training drain also means conference call drain, meaning you're going to push people away, meaning people are sick and tired of getting on these conference calls. It's interfering with their life, and they're hearing the same thing over and over. That will push people away. That will drive a wedge between you and them, and they'll lose respect for you. You cannot do that, all right? The conference calls have a place, and conference calls includes traditional over-the-phone conference calls. You might be able to do all the other software out there that is like Zoom, where you can do multiple people on these calls. Whatever the viral, the over the phone, whatever the case may be, guys, you can use those tools to have these conference calls. But here's the thing. The conference calls cannot be a repeat of the same thing over and over. And you cannot make your people feel guilty for not getting on these calls. There has to be a purpose, a clear and concise purpose. The calls need to be short to the point. And if you're going to have any Q&A, that needs to be short and to the point as well. And you only need to do these things once every other week and once every couple of weeks, okay? The ottle thing is that it's, even though it's not a conference call, when I sponsored Marie, I said, how often do you want me to call you to check to see if you have any questions, if you have any issues, okay? In like the example I gave, she told me Tuesday and Thursday at 8 a.m., okay? Even though that's not a conference call, that is a communicative process that's essential. And what happens is that Tuesday and Thursday schedule lets her and I get to know each other a little bit more. But at the same time, when I do say, hey, we got a conference call, here's what it's covering, she's more inclined to get on there. Why? Because I did Tuesday and Thursday correctly. I did not keep her on there. If she didn't have any questions, we got off of there. So she knows, hey, he's not the type of guy to get on there and socialize. He's not the type of guy to get on there and just ramble on about nothing. You know what? Obviously, this conference call is important. I need to be on it. Right, Miss Marie?
Yes.
Okay. So that's what you got to do, guys. The pros and cons of conference calls. The company does it at a certain level. The company's conference calls, more times than not, will push people away because they keep doing the same thing over and over and over. We did an episode earlier this week about that. Okay. And the reason is if they're launching a new product, if they're going into a new country, they're going to get on there and they're going to promote. Because they're not going to be able to get all 10,000 of their distributor force on one call. So they're going to have these weekly conference calls, and they're going to constantly harass you to get not only you get it back on there, but to have your people on there. And oh, by the way, bring new people on there too, who are totally overwhelmed because they have no idea what a conference call is. And when they hang up the phone, they have no idea what they just heard. Okay. It's a bad situation bringing new prospects on these conference calls. Would you not agree? You've experienced that.
Absolutely. But I mean, that's also one of the reasons why the network marketing companies do the same calls over and over again, yes. Right? Because from a company-wide perspective, they have so many people hearing it for the first time. But if you've been there for a while and you're consistent on those calls, it gets to be repetitive and redundant.
Yes, and pushes people away.
Yeah.
And what happens is, guys, people that don't know how to make this business go, they depend on those conference calls. And they will go out and convince new people to get on these things, these prospects, because they don't know what to say. They don't know what to do. They don't use the 5 simple steps business building process. Miss Marie and I would not do that. Why? Because we already know what to say. We know the message. We know the angle. We know all the things. So we don't depend on the conference calls. Okay. As I told you in the beginning of this, we get on them. If we just joined company XYZ this past Monday, we would get on the conference calls just to learn about certain things about the company, the leadership, the product, their future plans, et cetera. Right, Miss Marie? Outside of that, you and I are like, okay, I got it. I don't need to hear anything else. Unless it's a special thing. Hey, really important, critical. We ran into a problem. This is for all the leaders. We get on those. Okay? We're not anti-conference call. We are selective in what we get on because we don't want to waste our valuable time on frivolous bullcrap conference calls that are routine. If they're important, you guarantee Marie and I would be on them. Because we understand the importance of it, right? So that's the pros and cons of conference calls, guys. If it's a company, to summarize, if it's a company conference call, guess what? You got problems. Okay, you're going to be very selective. If you're a leader, you need to get on them, and you need to learn everything about the leaders, the company, the future plans, the product, etc. Okay. Outside of that, unless it's an emergency conference call, you're done. You should only do 3 or 4 just to get your feet wet, get your feet under you, and say, okay, I got it. Outside of that, stay away from them. Do not bring new prospects. Do not bring your prospects. Use the 5 simple steps business building system. Please do not depend on the company conference calls. It will do more damage than good. It's just not worth it. On your own front, when you're building an organization and you're sponsoring people 5 and above, and you got budding leaders, they are dependent on you to let them know how important they are to you. And part of that is not doing weekly conference calls. Okay, it's doing what I said in the beginning. Miss Marie, how many times do you want me to follow up with you? Even though it's not a conference call, it's almost like one. Okay, you got to use it in the proper text. What I got to do, I listen to her. Rob, get with me initially 2 times a week. I appreciate it for a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks, Tuesday and Thursday, 8 a.m. Okay, Miss Marie, I'll do that. When I do it, I'm professional to the point. I listen to her. I answer any concerns she has, straighten out any misunderstandings, whatever, and then we're off of there. No socializing, okay? So that when a conference call comes up, a leadership conference call, I say, Miss Marie, we're having a leadership conference call, and this is 3 weeks later. We're having it on a Tuesday at 7 p.m., and she'll say, well, you know what? He's always been spot on. He's never wasted my time. Obviously, this is important. I'm going to be on there. He's going to be talking about something important. To maintain my credibility when we have that conference leadership call at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, 3 weeks later, I'm going to stick to the script. I'm going to be professional. I'm going to get to the point. I'm going to address the issues, have a couple of Q&As, tell them up front, hey, I got 5 minutes for Q&As, only probably 3 or 4 questions, who's got it, blah, blah, blah. And the rest of you, please email me. I will address those later for everybody in a blast. And that's how you handle that, okay? You don't get on there and you don't ramble. Even though, once again, that's not a conference call, it falls in the same category. Why? Because it's a communicated device. Okay, you cannot abuse the communicated device. You cannot turn those calls into social environments. Okay, it is bad. It is bad. Nothing wrong with saying, hey, how you guys doing? Hey, how you doing, Marie? Hey, how you doing, Tom? Hey, how you doing, Sally? There's nothing wrong with doing that as you're getting ready to start, you know. And then you say, hey, say hi to everybody else. Sorry, I don't know your names. I'll get to know y'all later as we meet. But hey, let's get this thing rolling, all right? And you say, this is what we're going to be talking about tonight. Here's why. And then you get to it, right, Miss Marie? And
absolutely.
It's not a conference call. It's still, you got to remember, it's still in the same category because it's a communicative device. We use the term conference call to identify what the company does so that you guys can associate that conference call with the communication that they do with their people, right? Yes, we close. And can you close as I leave?
Absolutely, I can. Thanks, Rob. Great information as always. We appreciate it. And I want to let you all know, as always, please give us a thumbs up if you like what you hear and you understand the points that we're making. We absolutely appreciate that interactive feedback. And then also, if you will please like, comment, share on our various social media platforms. You can find us throughout the interwebs using hashtag the MLM Solution. That's hashtag the MLM Solution. And feel free to comment on any of our posts, whether it's a current video that we've done or a previous one, our podcast. We appreciate your comments, suggestions. We take some of those into account in planning future topics. And of course, any questions you have, we do try to address them, answer them, respond to your questions. And if nothing else, if it's something that we feel needs to be addressed, again, we work it into our shows as well. And then finally, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you register for notifications. You click on that little bell twice. That'll let you know when we go live or if we're uploading additional content for you. You'll get a notification for that. And of course, as always, be sure to visit our website, themlmsolution.net. That's themlmsolution.net. Rob has that all updated and purdy. So check that out. You can get podcast replays there. You can see some of the great information and items that we provide to you to help you build your business faster, better, make it more profitable, and achieve those end results that you want in terms of income, lifestyle, and time freedom. And then finally, if you will, be sure to join us tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be Friday, so that means it's our Freelance Friday episode. You never know what you're going to get. For some reason, this is a fan favorite, and it's not a topic that's planned. We can't tell you what it is. Sometimes we talk network marketing. Sometimes we're so off topic, it's crazy. We think we should maybe launch another podcast on some of those topics, but not that we're going to do that. But Freelance Friday, one of our most popular. So join us. Friday morning's great way to kick off the weekend to get more information. And as always, we appreciate you. Love that you're here. We love to share this information with you. We wish you much success, and we'll see you tomorrow morning as we do the TGIF Freelance Friday episode. Take care, everyone.
Thanks for listening to today's podcast. Download our podcast on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, and other podcast platforms. Visit our website at www.themlmsolution.net for additional important information, show details, and past shows. Follow us on Parler, Rumble, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Please hit the like button, the subscribe button, or the get notified button while visiting our other social media platforms.